Hey! Welcome back to Innovative Creator. Have you ever seen an alien being face to face? Yes, I have, absolutely. Are we truly alone in the universe, or are there civilizations waiting to reveal themselves? Thanks in large part to Dr. Stephen Greer, who has been sponsoring a symposium on this subject, we might get closer to the answer. You may have heard a lot about UFOs lately. Dr. Greer is carefully dissecting a network of lies put in place by governments and mysterious organizations that have been keeping the public in the dark for decades. Evidence buried, witnesses silenced, and a carefully constructed storyline designed to keep things under control. However, the mask is now being removed. The truth that Dr. Greer is exposing about the conspiracy between superpowers and advanced extraterrestrial civilizations is more incredible and terrifying than anything we have ever imagined. This goes beyond simple conspiracy theories. This is the moment when everything changes. Join us as we explore how Dr. Stephen Greer finally exposed everything about UFOs and why it should concern all of us. The topic of UFOs, also known as UAPs, has recently moved from the realm of conspiracy theories to the halls of Congress. Dr. Stephen Greer, one of the world's leading authorities on the subject of UFOs and UAPs, held a 3-hour press conference calling for Congress to investigate what he described as black-budget military operations dealing with UFOs that most of the American government is unaware of. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer promptly launched a bill to compel the Pentagon to provide whatever data it has collected regarding UFOs. During that week, 3 informants testified before Congress, lending credence to allegations that the federal government had covered up information regarding UFO and UAP vehicles, planes, and pilots. Greer claims that for decades, a secret group of government officials and military personnel have been conducting illicit operations to collect and reverse engineer strange aircraft, all while Congress and the White House were in the dark. Over the course of decades, Greer gathered evidence of what he dubbed an unlawful secret government and revealed the stories of more than 700 high-level government and corporate whistleblowers who were willing to testify about the extraterrestrial subject. The red pinpoints on the United States and international maps he gave were supposed to be bases for these illicit operations. Greer demanded that the government hold hearings and issue subpoenas to investigate the UFO issue at a news conference in June at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. Later, 3 former military members, all of whom previously spoke publicly about their first-hand knowledge of reported encounters with otherworldly flying objects, supported Greer's call for Congress's attention on the topic at a hearing held on July 26. The 3 whistleblowers informed the House Oversight Committee's National Security Subcommittee of their knowledge regarding the federal government's handling of pilot claims of UFO sightings. The 3 whistleblowers spent almost 2 hours testifying at the session. Following his interview with NewsNation, Grush's testimony was the most highly anticipated of the 3. Grush told NewsNation that as an official with the Defense Department's National Reconnaissance Office looking into UAPs, he became aware of a secret crash retrieval program to which he was denied access. These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed, Grush said. Although Grush claims to have been shown sensitive materials, he has not made them public. Despite his background as a decorated warrior and former intelligence officer, he failed to present any concrete evidence to support his assertions. However, according to him, the Pentagon has up to a dozen alien spacecraft complete with the bodies of pilots. One well-known astronomer characterized Grush's first reaction upon hearing the interview as frustration. David Kipping, an astrophysicist at Columbia University who focuses on the hunt for life on worlds near other stars, stated, "It's so exciting, but it's another example of personal testimony and nothing beyond that." The curiosity of Congress is well-founded, according to Kipping. Years of secret Pentagon footage and witness descriptions of what seemed to be planes acting in strange and maybe extraterrestrial ways formed the basis of Grush's accusations. For decades, these have piqued the interest of top lawmakers and military officials. In 2017, the New York Times published proof of a clandestine Pentagon program that began in response to requests from former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, Democrat Nevada. In 2020, the Pentagon itself published 3 blurry videos of UAPs. These are part of a larger investigation within the military, which included an unclassified 2021 report from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Government authorities from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence stated in that study that UAPs seem to display anomalous flight characteristics in a handful of occurrences. However, they stressed that there were natural explanations, and a 2023 follow-up to that report identified more than 170 instances worthy of further study, including some that appear to have demonstrated unusual flight characteristics or performance capabilities. Something strange is going on. Grush is a credible source, according to Kipping, as he is part of the UAP task force that operates internally. There's no reason to believe he is lying or disingenuous. But after 70 years of UFO culture wars, conspiracy theories, and cynicism, it's not enough to have another anecdotal account to move the needle. Vice President of the Union of Concerned Scientists and Sociologists at the RAND Corporation, Melissa Fucon, warned that Americans should evaluate any fresh and startling claims, including those of possible alien contact. According to experts who spoke with The Hill, the scientific issues with Grush's and the Pentagon's claims are similar to those with anecdotal or isolated incidents, with the possible exception of personal trustworthiness. According to Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb, the military should make this information public if they possess it. All people should have access to any extraterrestrial objects if they exist. An argument based on having an advantage compared to other nations or any other national security concern might work, but this is totally out of place. However, Loeb did acknowledge the possibility that Grush could be mistaken. It's plausible that Grush was deceived or intentionally misled, potentially to conceal clandestine weapons programs that involve human elements. It could be fabricated, or some sections developed special weapons that they don't want us to think the US has. The broader problem with all eyewitness UAP accounts, even those from the military, is that we have no idea what the false alarm rate is, said Kipping. Humans are prone to erroneous identification to varying degrees, and when faced with inexplicable events, humans tend to classify them according to culturally familiar norms. This is why UFO sightings are largely an American phenomenon. In the UK, where he comes from, people are more likely to think the anomaly they saw was a ghost. Pilots will still occasionally witness strange occurrences, some of which they will report, and others, probably lesser, which will stay unexplained. Even in a world devoid of extraterrestrial visitors, we can't assess the significance of the Pentagon's leaked tapes unless we know the frequency of pilots' reports of anomalous phenomena and the percentage of cases when these reports prove to be truly unexplained. If sightings of anomalies that ultimately prove to have other explanations happen once a century, UAPs are really interesting because the recent sightings are way above baseline. The 2021 Pentagon report similarly complains that data from fighter jet cameras and spooked pilots raise questions it cannot provide answers for. Both public and commercial sectors are arguing over how to compile such records. NASA, according to the Spergel Group, should put its money into collecting UAP data that is well calibrated, verifiable, and testable if it wants to understand the claims. Meanwhile, public and private institutions are working on a broad-based new push to get data related to extraterrestrial life, from new monitoring programs to space archaeology and the US's own interstellar research mission. This might allow scientists to draw usable conclusions about both UAPs and the possible existence of alien life. According to Kipping, there is at least one level of plausibility to Grush's allegations that the government has spacecraft that are sufficiently intact for federal agencies to have removed technology and the corpses of pilots from them. Intelligent alien life forms, if they do exist, may have a reason to come to Earth. Why would extraterrestrials care about Earth at all? Is it possible that aliens are just stopping by Earth for a quick bite to eat if they aren't interested in enslaving or having children with us? Some of the most basic characteristics of life's molecules are at the heart of the debate about whether or not extraterrestrial biochemistry could digest humans as food. Proteins, DNA, and RNA are polymers of amino acids, bases, and sugars, respectively. However, our hypothetical alien visitors could have a good incentive to visit Earth for mining purposes. Earth and asteroids share a lot of the same solid composition, but our globe is far from being a static object. Rather, it's a dynamic, active system. Specifically, the Earth's crust is constantly shifting and breaking apart as its thin layers slide across the hot, gooey mantle, pressing against one another, crushing, tearing away to form new crust, or subducting beneath one another. This is the churning process of plate tectonics. There are likely billions of rocky planets in our galaxy, according to current estimates, and scientists have discovered around 4,500 extrasolar planets, planets that circle other stars. However, here's an idea that is at the cutting edge of modern astrobiology and planetary research. Planets with plate tectonics are extremely rare, even if terrestrial planets in general are numerous. The stabilization of Earth's climate over billions of years, which enables complex life like ours to form, and the concentration of specific metals into rich ores are both believed to be crucial functions of plate tectonics. Plate tectonics is probably only experienced by a tiny fraction of the terrestrial planets. For example, neither Venus nor Mars undergo this process. Maybe extraterrestrials would visit Earth because of our unique plate tectonics and the concentration of certain metals. For them, the fact that our tectonics have also allowed a diverse biosphere to form would be a minor nuisance. Alien civilizations could settle on any number of stony planets in the cosmos, yet in order to maintain complex life, a terrestrial planet may require more than just a habitable zone location. Complex life on Earth necessitates considerably more stringent environmental conditions than the hardy microbial cell communities that thrive on inorganic energy deep below the surface. It is believed that many Earth characteristics, not only our warm oceans, play an essential role in sustaining a stable surface environment over long periods of geological time. A huge moon keeps the planet's spin axis from wobbling too much. Plate tectonics function to regulate the climate, and the global magnetic field deflects the solar wind and keeps the atmosphere from being swept away into space. Perhaps extraterrestrial civilizations see Earth and similar worlds as desirable colonies because of their relative rarity. However, how exactly would they be able to tell that we are even here? Intentionally or unintentionally, humanity has been sending radio waves into space for around 100 years now. That means extraterrestrials with highly sensitive radio telescopes could potentially detect our presence through their radio program. Still, the Earth-centered, light-speed expanding radio bubble that announces our technological emergence is barely about 200 light-years across. Even if other sentient life forms exist in the galaxy, they would most likely remain unaware of our recent arrival because that area makes up a negligible fraction of the galaxy, which is 100,000 light-years in diameter. The Earth has been obviously alive for hundreds of millions of years, even though humans have only been noticeably civilized for 100. This brings us to one of the most talked about issues in astrobiology right now. The rapid production of oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis by living organisms on Earth, particularly plants and cyanobacteria, has led to its accumulation in the atmosphere, from a few percent at the beginning of recorded history to 1/5 of the air we breathe today. Being a highly reactive gas, oxygen has only been able to build up in the atmosphere due to the continual replenishment it receives from living things. Actually, astrobiologists believe that the existence of oxygen in the atmosphere, especially when combined with a reduced gas like methane, is a biosignature of life on Earth because it is so uncommon to the planet's geochemistry. We are constructing space telescopes that will scan the night sky for evidence of life by analyzing the chemical makeup of the atmospheres of exoplanets that are located beyond Earth's orbit using spectroscopy. Our arrival on the galactic stage is that of a relative newcomer. Life on another planet may have developed intelligence millions of years ago and utilized its telescopes to search for planets with an oxygen-rich atmosphere. This particular period in galactic history is not unusual, but has the fact that the Earth is obviously sporting biology prompted anyone to say hello? Thanks for watching another episode of Space Voyager. While you're still here, make sure to click the video on your screen for more mind-blowing videos about space.